What's up, YouTube? And we're at the All-Star break right now, and we wanted to reflect on who we thought were the biggest winners and who are the biggest losers so far of the first half of the baseball season. Plus, Andy and I wanted to reflect on our picks, where we were right and where we were wrong, and we want to check in on our good friends, the Baltimore Orioles. Oh. Well, at least other teams are doing good.
That's right. We are looking at how our predictions are going, who's going to cry, who's going to cheer. And we're also celebrating our 1-year anniversary with this channel. We started doing this a little under a year ago at the time of this recording. And we grew our viewership by 40. So we're hoping to grow a little bit more. Thank you guys so much for all that support and love, and hoping you guys stay around for the upcoming future.
So sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready, and let's get into a nice discussion of our winners and losers of the first half of the 2019 MLB All-Star season. First off, I'm going to get into our winners, or more so, the surprising teams that we think have overperformed thus far. To me, I had three choices. I had the Texas Rangers, who I thought were dead in the water, a bottom-tier team, have somehow rised up from the ashes thanks to old veteran Mike Minor and Joey Gallo, and also that awesome off-season acquisition. Oh, what was his name? Asdrubal Cabrera. Yep, no, Hunter Pence has reinvigorated his career and is deserving of an all-star spot. Thought the Dodgers overperformed. I thought they were going to go on a downward spiral, but unfortunately I am wrong. But the team that has surprised me the most is the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota is getting contributions from guys that we either thought were towards the end of their career or just surprisingly good hitters. Jorge Polanco seemingly came out of nowhere and is the leading all-star shortstop and is hitting .320, leading the Twins. Nelson Cruz took his bat from Seattle and is still swinging a hot .284 right now. They're getting help from guys like Marwin Gonzalez, we miss you, at .250 average. CJ Cron has seemingly reinvigorated his career, hitting .271. Even Jonathan Scope is still being a reliable bat.
I mean, I hate to say I told you so. Never mind, I love to say it. I told you that the Minnesota Twins were going to be the most improved team of this season. Because you have guys like Jake Odorizzi, who was a solid performer in Tampa, who's now reinvigorated his career with 10 wins. Then you have the young upstart Jose Barrios, who came out of nowhere 2 years ago. Then you have the veteran Martin Perez, who he was okay in Texas, but never reached his full potential with 7 wins. They're kind of a complete team right now. Want to agree that the Twins are surprising, but I called it, so I don't want to say they surprised me because I'm their fan.
And with the upcoming trade deadline, the Twins can only get better, I imagine, because they are right now in hot pursuit of Mad Bum and Will Smith. Imagine if they got another starting pitcher like that and a solid closer. Minnesota could be a legitimate World Series contender. And that's why I believe that they are the biggest surprise, in my opinion. Andy, what is your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise of the season has to come from the Oklahoma Rangers. I'm sorry, it's the Texas Rangers. They are actually competing, which is very surprising. I thought they were dead and gone, bottom 30 team, stuff like that. But they're getting contributions from Nomar Mazara, from Elvis Andrus, who's always batting .300, solid shortstop, big fan of his. And then there's another guy who I thought was already at the tail end of his career. When he came to Texas, I thought it was just one of those kind of vacationing spots for him so he could play DH. But Logan Forsythe is really turning his career around at first base. No, it's Hunter Pence. He's actually batting a career year at almost .300, 15 homers, and almost 50 RBIs. He is slated right now to be the starting DH of the American League, which, hats off to him. The Rangers right now are in the second wildcard position at the All-Star break. They were making a push for the division right now. They are 6.5 back at the time of this recording. So let's see if the Rangers can keep it up, though, because it's a very long season, and the Rangers are known for second half collapses.
I was very surprised by their offseason acquisitions because they got guys like Mike Minor, Lance Lynn, guys like Shelby Miller, and these guys are just filler pieces. And for the most part, they have all been over exceeding their expectations. I mean, with the exception of Drew Smyly, who recently got DFA'd. Mike Minor's an all-star this year. He's in his mid-30s and came out of nowhere and became a good pitcher. Joey Gallo is having a career resurgence right now. He went from averaging about 220 with over 100 plus strikeouts to now he's hitting 286. He learned how to not strike out. And so now we're going to go ahead and transition into the teams who have disappointed us the most, or we thought would be better than what they were. Initially, mine was going to be the Philadelphia Phillies, because in a previous video, I am on the record for saying that I did think that this team would be the best team in the National League. At the start of the season, they were. You got Bryce Harper hitting home runs for days at the start of the season, coming out there trolling the Phillies fans for booing him. But since then, they've just seemed to regress to the Phillies of last year. Because, last year the Phillies started off very hot, but then steadily worked their way down. Since then, we've seen the Atlanta Braves surge into that first place in the National League East. I'm not including them on disappointing teams list because of the injury to Andrew McCutchen, which was huge. It's hard for any team to come back from an injury to one of your star players. So to me, they're getting a pass. My team that is the most disappointing is the Colorado Rockies. Last year, the Rockies made the playoffs as a wild card and beat the Cubs in an epic multi-inning game. And they were supposed to take the next step and conquer the Los Angeles Dodgers. To me, the Dodgers are having a surprisingly dominant season. I knew they were going to be good, but I didn't think they were going to be this dominant. Colorado's still getting good performances from guys like Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Arenado, their usual cast. Desmond is proving to be a actually decent center fielder, but the loss of DJ LeMahieu really hurt this team. Because right now, DJ LeMahieu is being a world beater and competing for a batting title for the New York Yankees. Where Colorado has severely been lacking is their pitching. Guys like Kyle Freeland, John Gray were supposed to take those next steps and have since then just become regular rotation guys. They are still in contention for the wild card, but with the Dodgers looming in their division and teams like the San Diego Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks creeping at 500, the Rockies have some stiff competition. I think there is a big chance that the Rockies don't even make the playoffs this year. Andy, who is your most disappointing team?
I have to agree with you and pick the Colorado Rockies. I really believed in them at the start of the season that they would overtake the Dodgers. I thought they had enough talent. I didn't think their rotation was going to hold up, though, because they don't have a solid number one. But I really thought their offense was going to pick it up. Sadly, that has not been the case. I mean, yeah, it's good that they're still competing for the wild card, but you have teams in there like the Cubs, like the Brewers, like the Cardinals, like the Pirates, like the Diamondbacks, Padres. You have so many teams with such young talent. So I might have to agree with you that they probably won't even make the playoffs. If you want to talk about teams that have fallen down so hard, we can't go without mentioning the New York Mets. Think of all the moves that were made in this prior offseason. They got Robinson Cano, Edwin Diaz, signed Jed Lowry, got Wilson Ramos, and look where they're at right now. Faltering, sputtering. Is there any pulse left in Mr. Met? We don't know. I mean, you have Edwin Diaz, who was a lights-out closer in Seattle, can barely go out there without any kind of confidence right now. In his last 13 outings, he's given up 9 runs for an atrocious 4.76 ERA. Robinson Cano is nowhere near performing the way he should be. You haven't had Jed Lowry all year because of his injuries. You have guys like Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil who came out of nowhere, and probably one of them is going to win Rookie of the Year. They both made the All-Star team, which is great for them. Congratulations. But I can't see them as anything more in September other than calling Tim Tebow up to get people to come to their games. And speaking of teams who got a big acquisition in the offseason and it's not working out yet.
Leave Machado alone. He's hitting 280. He's fine.
Well, his team's actually doing okay. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Phillies. You have arguably the best offense on paper, and you are second in your division by 5 games. You're not even first in the wild card yet. You have arguably a top 5 player in Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, Gene Segura. You just traded for Jay Bruce. Come on. So, in the video that we did our predictions, what did you say, Jack? That they would be the best team in the National League. They're not even the best team in their own division. That happens to be my pick, the Atlanta Braves, who, other than what they just got a signing for, have been doing amazing this year. And I fully expect them to go to the playoffs.
Okay, to be fair, Bryce Harper got off to a very, very slow start at the first half of the 2018 season, then came alive after the All-Star break because that home run derby reinvigorated him with that beautiful, patriotic American flag on his arm. So I still have hope for Bryce Harper. I mean, $250 is definitely not worth a $330 million contract, but it's year one. In his prime, at his peak, he is a top 5 player in baseball. So there is a chance that he can turn this around.
But you know who has turned it around? Who didn't sign a $300 million deal? Who signed a merely 2-year, $32 million deal? Who I said was going to make the bigger impact on their team than Bryce Harper was? I'm talking about all-star outfielder Michael Q. Brantley.
First off, I don't think his middle name starts with a Q. Second, yes, he has been unbelievably surprising. I did not say Michael Brantley was a bad player. I did not say the Astros are bad for making this decision. I said if he can stay healthy, which in the past he has proven he cannot, if he can stay healthy, the Astros have picked up a great outfielder and a great hitter. And so far, he has done that.
Right, but what was the thing you told me when I said Michael Brantley was going to make a bigger impact than Bryce Harper was on his team?
I said you're wrong, and I'm wrong. I'm man enough to admit it. I'm wrong. And you know what else I'm wrong about? Some of my picks. And we're going to see if we want to keep our picks or change them. I'll start first in the American League. My division winners were the Yankees, Indians, and Astros. I'm going to keep the Yankees, and I'm going to keep the Astros. I'll pick the Twins. I think the Twins are going to win the division by a mile. As far as my wild cards, I initially picked the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's. I'm going to go ahead and keep those picks. I see the Rays declining. I see them on a losing skid, and I could see Oakland sneaking in there one more time. So my only change I'm making is the Indians to not make the playoffs and the Twins to make the playoffs.
My picks were the Astros to win the West, the Twins to win the Central, and the Rays to win the East. I'm going to go ahead and keep the Astros and Twins. And sadly, I'm going to have to change my East pick from the Rays to the Yankees. With the amount of talent that they actually lost at the beginning of the season to be where they are now is astonishing. So, as much as I don't like them, I'll go ahead and put the Yankees to be the division winners. My wild cards were actually the Yankees and the Red Sox. So, obviously, I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to go ahead and put the Rays as the first wild card. I still believe in them, but right now they've been showing signs that they're not ready to keep up with the Yankees, so I'll go ahead and put them at number 1. Number 2 is interesting. I'm leaning towards giving it to Boston still, but Texas for some reason intrigues me. So do I go with the proven winner or do I go with the young upstart team?
I mean, Hunter Pence is a proven winner. 2 World Series.
You're right. I'm going to go with the Red Sox.
And that'll do it for our American League changes. National League changes. Ooh, boy. I have some changes to do. In the East, I don't want to say that I'm completely wrong about Philadelphia, but because with the injury to Andrew McCutchen and players who shall not be named not living up to as much hype.
His name rhymes with Dice Larper.
Markel Franco doesn't rhyme with that. I'll switch it to the Atlanta Braves. As far as the National League Central goes, Milwaukee, I picked originally. They're tied right now at the time of this recording with the Cubs, and I'll still lean a little towards Milwaukee. I think their core is suitable for the playoffs, and I think they're hungry to face the Dodgers again. For the West, I'll just come out and say it. I was dead wrong about the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers, but yeah, they're going to win the National League West. So the changes I made, Braves winning the division, Dodgers winning their division. And as far as my 2 wild cards, I picked the Cardinals and I picked the Braves. I was flipped the Braves and Phillies. I still think the Phillies have enough talent to make a wild card spot. The second wild card, I'll go ahead and give to the Cubs. The Cubs also proved me wrong. Darvish and Cole Hamels, both are pitching like they're playing for the Rangers in 2016. John Lester's still good. Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant are just guys you just can't count out anymore. Jason Hayward is being not terrible. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and give the Cubs the benefit of the doubt and say they're going to make the playoffs. So, no Cardinals, and Phillies and Braves switch.
We both picked the Rockies to win the division. I'm not feeling bold this season, so I'm not going to keep them. So, I'm going to go ahead and change them to the Dodgers, sadly. For the Central, I also picked the Brewers. And I'm going to go ahead and stay with the Brewers just because Christian Yelich is by far probably the best player in the National League right now. I see him winning the MVP again. And so with my wild cards, I picked the Phillies and the Dodgers. So clearly I'm going to have to change one of them. So the Phillies, I can keep them. I'm going to change them to number 2. I will put them as my second wild card. And my first wild card, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Cubs. I just think the Cubs are a little bit better than the Phillies. So my changes are that I'm changing my first wild card to the Cubs, my second wild card to the Phillies. My National League West team is now the Dodgers.
So those are our changes. And to finish off this video, we wanted to talk about how the Astros have done so far this first half of the season. We have 6 guys in the All-Star game. Should be 7 with Josh Reddick. And Torinos deserves some All-Star nods as well. But 6 guys that include Alex Bregman, Michael Brantley, George Springer, Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Brian Presley. We've gotten off to a good start, and we're meeting our expectations. I don't think we're exceeding them like we did last year, but we're definitely going through the motions that we're definitely going to make the playoffs. And even with all the injuries we have sustained, we have still put a good quality team out there. And guys like Tony Kemp have come up and contributed as of late. And of course, I can't talk about Houston phenomenons without Yordan Alvarez, who has all but exceeded every single ceiling and expectation we all had for him. He's clearly the next great designated hitter for us, and he looks like he's going to have a great long career with us.
Once again, we would like to thank the Dodgers for trading him to us. How'd you guys enjoy Josh Fields? We know we're enjoying Yordan Alvarez. But as you said, I think that this team is good, and I think they're only going to get better in the second half. You had their top 3 guys all on the DL for a significant amount of time, and Correa is still out. He probably won't be back till after the All-Star break, which is good. It gives him time to heal, and we're going to need him for that second half run. And I think their only real drawback is the fact that after their first 3 pitchers, they don't really have a strong pitcher because Verlander is Verlander. He's amazing. Cole, phenomenal. Miley, I'm surprised how good he's been doing. But after that, you had Brad Peacock, who's been struggling his last couple of starts. And then you had a number 5 who was balancing between Colin McHugh, Corbin Martin, Framber Valdez. So until we pick up another starting pitcher, I don't think we have the rotation to really compete with someone's like the Yankees. So I think their biggest thing that they need to look for in the trade deadline is a starting pitcher. Someone like a Madison Bumgarner or a Max Scherzer, bring them in. They have playoff experiences. They are obviously dogs who love the big time feel. So if they're willing to make a deal, go for it. You saw what happened when we got Justin Verlander.
Also want to point out that if the Mets continue to fall, we should look into Noah Syndergaard. I know he's just coming off an injury, but that's someone who is not going to be too expensive that the Mets might not ask a lot in return for. But that will go ahead and do it to recap our first half of Major League Baseball, and we look forward to a great second half. We're going to get more content going up. I have a video about Major League Baseball expansion coming up soon, and I'm also going to talk about a potential Rays relocation. Tune in to find out. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to have more baseball content going forward. We're going to talk about the NBA free agency in a future video. But before we end this video, Andy and I have an announcement.
We're going to Atlanta.
That is right. We are going to attend a Braves game, the first time in our history, and we're going to have another theme park video. We're going to review Six Flags over Georgia.
Yep, it's one of those cringy vlog videos that y'all love so much again.
Just like in Florida, which we may go to later this year. We don't know. but we'll find out. Thank you again, guys. Have a great day.